Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cloverly Academy. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, fiction author and former news reporter, Dani Safford. Dani Safford is a former newspaper reporter with a passion for storytelling that delves into the complexities of human relationships and personal growth. Dani is the author of the novel Glass-Hearted Millennial. Thanks for joining us today, Dani.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Sure, we're so happy to have you. And today I want to talk all about how reporting and journalism can inspire fiction writing. So, Dani, how has your background as a newspaper reporter influenced your approach to storytelling in fiction?
I think that there are a few key components when it comes to newspaper reporting and fiction writing. So they're very different, but there are some advantages. Being a newspaper reporter actually taught me how to hook readers pretty quickly because when you're writing a news article, you don't have paragraphs to kind of get a story rolling and hook people, especially like in today's society where everybody wants like an instantaneous sort of connection to something. So that urgency translates really well into fiction. It kind of gives you that advantage to be able to kind of draw them in right away. And it also gave me a really good ear for authentic dialogue. I've interviewed everyone from homeless people to politicians. I worked for two major daily newspapers for 4 years. So it kind of helps me make my characters feel a little bit more authentic. It's nuanced, but it's important.
Well, that's amazing inspiration. On that note, have any real life news stories you've covered influenced the themes or characters? I know you talked a little bit about characters, but have any influenced the themes?
So while the novel itself is considered fiction, most of the themes are shaped by my personal experiences, things I've witnessed, and kind of things I witnessed as a journalist and as a human being and a mom, because I'm now watching my children go through very similar experiences. So it's interesting to see that it doesn't really matter what era it is. Some things like heartbreak, self-discovery, trauma, those things are kind of timeless. It doesn't really matter, what era you're being raised in or what era you're, kind of coming of age in. Those things don't really go away. They maybe change shape, but they're always there.
Right. Now, when you're incorporating these real life themes and character traits, how do you balance the factual accuracy with the creative storytelling?
So fortunately for me, I was a teenager in the 90s. So I didn't have to do a ton of extensive research because I lived it. I remember it. But while factual accuracy is important, emotional truth is really kind of what matters more, right? So the setting of my novel is in a kind of a generic, non-specific New England town. It feels authentic without it being bogged down with like exact geography. So it's not specific to a central location, but people get the vibe from it.
Right, right. Now, did your experience in journalism help you develop a structured writing routine, or did fiction require kind of a whole new approach?
You would think that it would, but I'm kind of chaotic in general. So I have ADHD. I have a full time job. I'm a full time college student. I have a husband and three kids. So it's more like beautifully controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no deadlines. And that can really be challenging because I mean, you have a deadline, but it's a much larger window than when it comes to journalism, which was oftentimes, I mean, I would sometimes have, an hour deadline, a 3 hour deadline, and that was very high pressure and high stakes. I don't know that it maybe resulted in the best work, but it did result in me feeling like I had to get it done immediately. That's not the same when you're writing fiction. You have to really be disciplined and give yourself this sort of structure that no one is holding you accountable to. So that can be challenging from time to time. And there's been plenty of times where I've, put off writing, put off editing, which is awful. The editing component is really like one of the hardest parts when it came to fiction writing because I had to go through and make sure everything was cohesive, and then I had to have an editor look at it. So that is not the same, I think, as as being a news journalist where you have kind of someone standing by your side, breathing down your neck, saying, "Get it done." In this case, I had to kind of be the one breathing down my neck, saying, "I need to get this done."
Now, that's very interesting. And we've touched on this a little bit. But lastly, I just want to ask you, are there any more large differences between journalism and novel writing?
So, I mean, journalism is about facts. So there's not a lot of heart or emotion that's going into it. I mean, you can add your personality to it, but you're not sitting around waiting for inspiration. You're writing whether you feel like it or not, and you're writing kind of the basics, like the straightforward facts for the general public to read. With fiction, it's more about truth, I guess. It's not so much factual as it is, whether it's emotional truth, whether it's anything like that. But I also get to kind of change the ending, and even if it is rooted in some real true story, it is still made up. So that's kind of the advantage when it comes to the fiction component, is that I get to write it the way that I feel like it should go, even if that's not necessarily the way it went, because I'm not retelling an exact story. I'm kind of creating my own version of it.
Right. Well, what a great way to use that inspiration, but then also be able to do your own spin. Well, Dani, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on reporting and journalism and how they inspire fiction writing.
Thank you so much.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
So the best place to connect with me is Instagram. So I've been working on promoting through Instagram. My handle is Dani Safford Writes.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with fiction author and former news reporter, Dani Safford. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.